What's up, everyone? It is your Resin 3D printing god, Akuma Mods, back again with our review of the Elegoo Saturn 2. Is this the best bang for your buck? Let's take a look. So, the fine folks over at Elegoo decided to send us the Saturn 2 for our review. And I know it's been a long time. My apologies for that. I've just been kind of printing with it. Now, to be in quite honesty, it's been kind of a rocky go. And I think really the issue that I've been having is more or less just an uneven build plate. In fact, I'm 100% sure of it. And I'll tell you why in a sec. So, other than the build plate and us having some adhesion issues while printing, it has been printing fairly good. Now, I will say that this is a budget printer, so I expected to have a kind of 70% success rate in terms of printing when you do a kind of click and print without doing any extra supportive work or angling or whatnot. I try and utilize it as best as I can for what its intended purpose is, and that's new users. So at a price point of $259, this is a great buy, and I will say that it has been pretty good in terms of printing, like I said. Now, I do have a print on here I wanted to show you guys. You could probably see it right here. That actually is a really cool print. I've had it in my print files for quite some time. I know all of you have print files that have been lingering for years. Not me, though. No, not me at all. Anyway, so this printer is actually a pretty good printer for the price. And I say it exactly like that because what you get from Elegoo is you get a very budget-friendly printer. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the greatest printer for you. It's going to be, something that's going to consistently print. It may. That's completely up to you, and really it all depends on your experience level. Me, I am super experienced, I would say, and I still get failures from time to time. So far, with printing this, we've had it for maybe about 6 or 7 months now. Long time, like I said. I probably had a total of about 15 failures on it. So, not terrible, but it could definitely be a lot less. Most are probably my fault, just because, like I said, I try and use it as a new time user. So, some of them are most likely my fault. Probably more than most of them, but whatever. I digress. So, in terms of what you get with the printer, I will say it does come packed with a lot of features. One of the things that I know I've said several times about the Elegoo printers, one of my biggest downfalls of the Elegoo printers, at least these ones, is the build plate. Let me show you. Let's pop our top off. So, with the Elegoo Saturn, you get this ball joint system. Now, those are all good and dandy. They level perfectly fine. I actually like the way that they level. They use a pressure-sensitive ball joint that is spring-loaded, and it levels very, very nicely as long as the actual bed is leveled. Again, we'll get to that in a quick second. So once it's leveled, it's good. However, after repeated use and over a course of a small period or a long period, depends on how abusive you are to the build plate, I guess you can call it. I am pretty abusive, but not so much with the addition that we put on here. So if you are somebody who's like me and tends to get down and dirty with your resin prints, these tend to become a little bit unleveled. They lose their stiffness on the ball joint because there's only 2 screws, one in front and one in the side, holding that ball joint in one place. Well, the problem is you have a single screw and a single screw, and they're both flat surfaced going on a ball. Well, the problem is they only lock so much. So over time, they end up becoming slippery a little bit. And it's caused by friction just because of use, taking it on and off the build plate, setting it down, whatever it may be. There's several reasons that it happens. And that's probably my biggest pet peeve with the Elegoo printers. You may have perfect prints for it for its entire life. That's completely up to you. It might just be user to user, and probably really is. But for me, I prefer a 4-point leveling system, which I know they have recently updated onto the, the Saturn 3 Ultra, which we will be checking out at least the Saturn 3. Don't know if it'll be an Ultra, but we'll take a look. Either way, the printer did have an issue with the bed plate. Now, I tried several different ways to try and level this and get it situated, and it seemed like there was an issue where it would print on left part of the build plate, but not on the right, and it was just a consistent thing. No matter what I did, how I tried sanding the build plate, nothing ever helped it out until I was getting a flex plate for this. Now, this actually has the Morrow Project flex plate on it. Slightly different than the Wham Bam that everybody knows and loves, or the generic ones that are out there by like Energetic or Solval or whoever has them out there. This actually has 4 tabs, 1, 2, 3, 4 on each corner, so you can get at it from pretty much any angle. It's a nicer type of build plate, in my opinion, for usability. Especially if you're getting a larger printer, maybe even larger than this. I do suggest looking into those plates. They seem to be just slightly better, in my opinion. But that's just my workflow. Your workflow might just be perfectly fine with the Wham Bam. Go ahead and have at it. No problem. Either one will work the same. So, what do you guys get with the Elegoo Saturn 2? I mean, besides a pretty large build plate for most people that are getting into resin printing, you do get this active carbon filtration system, which is really, really nice because it is not one of those cheap rechargeable ones, which I absolutely hate because, well, I don't have time to lift it up, recharge it, and then put it back in to start a print. Ain't nobody got time for that. So I really like that they have this USB plug-in. A side note to that is don't use anything on that USB because I believe it is rated for some ridiculous amount, and it actually has a warning label on it now. So that way, if anybody decides they want to plug in a camera or whatever it may be, don't do it because you can possibly blow up whatever you are putting into that outlet, and you definitely don't want that. So just be aware. Only use it with this. One thing I want to point out that a lot of people forget about when they are unboxing these printers is make sure that you open these things up and take the plastic wrap off of the carbon filter that's inside of here. I can't tell you how many times, especially with the Saturn II specifically, that somebody has unboxed it, think that they have their air filtration situated, come to find out months down the line, it's still in the plastic bag and not really being utilized. So it's not the end of the world, but if you're somebody who's a little sensitive to some things, this does help quite a bit. So I do highly suggest opening this up, taking it out of the plastic, and making sure it's working the way that it's intended. So with that being said, let's take a look at some of the prints, if I can plug this back in here. Oh God, can't do it from this side. I can't see. Why? I got my eyes closed. There we go. All right. Trust me, it's a lot easier to plug in when you're not looking at it from the backside. Okay, it's just, yeah. I'm a noob here, I swear. Anyway. So this printer is currently going for $259 on Elegoo's website. Unfortunately, I don't see a link for it anymore on Amazon, but if I do, I will link it down in the description just like I normally do. And as well as all the prints that I'm showing off here, I will try and find those files, credit the creators for it, and link them down below. But before we get into the prints, actually, sorry, I know I'm going back and forth here. I just wanted to let you know about the build size, the build volume, essentially, the print volume on this printer. And that's going to be 218 by 123 by 250. So it is a pretty sizable print area, and with a 10-inch screen, it does very, very nice. Now, one thing I will highly suggest from anybody who is resin printing, be it this printer or anything else that I review, I highly, highly suggest going and stopping in at bullet-brand.com, and I will link it below, and get yourself a screen protector. I cannot tell you how many times a screen protector has saved my butt when it comes to resin printing and spillage and leakage and whatever. Now, when I say that, I'm not just talking about, oh, well, it just covers the screen area. No, 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 no. Bullet Brand goes far above and beyond that, and they actually go all the way out to the entire edge working area. So if a major resin failure happens and you happen to have all of your resin drip out of your vat for some reason, okay, hypothetical, and you come home to that mess, well, one thing for certain is your screen will be perfectly fine because it covers that entire area. The chances of you getting resin on your screen or under your screen or on the black vinyl that surrounds the screens normally, almost impossible. I will tell you that right now. This is probably the best thing that you can have for a resin printer. I will continue to use these products and work with Bullet Brand on new printers that are coming out so you guys can have these all available when you do get your new printer. But I do highly suggest, out of anything that I sell you guys in any way, shape, or form, a screen protector for resin printers saves you hundreds of dollars, okay? Case in point, I saw somebody that had a failure on their FET and all the resin dried on their screen. They went to go scrape it off. They destroyed their screen. Guess what? Now they have to spend 150 bucks. I think I spent $30 on a pack of 3 screen protectors for this printer. So if I have a failure, I could just peel it off, or I can try and take it off if I want to. But in my opinion, just peel it off, put on a new one, call it a day. Fix your FET, you're done. All right? No problem. So, without further ado, I had one of my buddies on TikTok. His name's Denny, and he wanted me to print out some of the some gemstones for him. One of them is the Wishmaster gemstone. Unfortunately, I don't have that here. I really wish I had the ability to show that off. I should have shot this before I sent it off because it just looks absolutely insane. The color on it is perfect. But unfortunately, it's not here. So I'm sorry I can't show you. However, he did want a green emerald. And so I decided to print one for him, and I do have a secondary one as well. Now, this may look like an emerald to most, but to me, it is a ruby, in my opinion. And yeah, this is cleaned up a little bit. As you can see, it's a little bit glossy. So this one does have a little post-processing. We did a light sanding, nothing major, and then we just hit it with some polyacrylic, and that brings back its shine and gloss and everything, and more importantly, the clarity in it. If I said that right. Clarity, however you want to say it. Another cool thing that my wife is a big Star Trek nerd. Her dad is as well. And so I decided to print off a really, really cool Star Wars visor here. No, I'm just joking. It's Star Trek. Don't cancel me. I swear. I'm just joking. It's all fun and games. This is Geordi's visor from Star Trek. And this is probably one of the cooler prints that I've done. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't really stay on my face here. But if I put some double-sided tape right here on the chin bone areas, this would absolutely stay with no problem. I actually scaled this up pretty perfectly. I'm quite surprised because me and scaling things to fit my head or my face or anything usually does not turn out well. I usually have to do it 2 or 3 times. I really should get something to allow me to scale that properly. But we'll get to that at some point, I'm sure. So anyway, I did print off some other cool stuff like with some metallic resins. However, I didn't really want to show those off because they were really, really hard to print with this printer. It's some new metallic resins that are out on the market right now, and some gold metallic and silver metallic. And they're kind of metallic-esque. They're more or less just a mica powder added in at a major rate. And so the printing process with those is quite heavy compared to, well, this type of stuff. I had to print basically at like 7 seconds in order for it to print, which, if you guys know anything about resin printers, that is old school RGB printing, and that is really, really long time. That is what we call in the industry a screen killer. So if you guys do happen to take a look at those resins, they are on Yusu. I'll see if I can link them down below. But unfortunately, I don't have any of the prints there because all the stuff that I did print had to go to customers. I know, I'm terrible. My reviews seem to be cut short with all the cool prints that I've done on these things, but I swear I'll try and get as much as I possibly can for future, and maybe we'll just do some quick clips and do some B-roll, and we can just kind of like pan through and show some cool images. At some point, I want to dive into it and do some better editing than, you know, basically the one shot that we do here. So, but either way, one of the cool prints that I did recently was this tiara. And I've had this print in my arsenal, like I said, for a little while, a couple of years. And I decided to size it up to my daughter's head. So once we get this off the build plate, we will check it out and show off some content for it. But we're going to leave it on here so we can do a quick short of it. But I'm going to walk to you guys so you guys can kind of see this and the other prints. But just look at this. It is absolutely insane looking. I love this print so much. Now, this red was actually a custom combination of mine. This is a Wrapper Clear, and I basically added in some red pigment. Now, I use pigment specifically because the color doesn't run as much. It holds up to light a little bit longer, unlike alcohol inks. So if you guys are going to dye clear resins or white resins or whatever you want to dye anything, any color, I do highly suggest pigments over alcohol dyes. They just seem to be a little bit better in terms of the color tone that you get out of them, and they maintain that color tone. So really, really cool stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it for our review. If you guys got any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and leave them down below, and I will try and get back to you as soon as I can. I know I've been trying to keep up with comments here and there, but it does get a little hectic at some times, so I might not reply right away, but I swear if you catch me on any social media, you can always ask me a question if I'm not getting back to you as soon as I possibly can. I'm pretty busy with normal life and doing the content creation on the side, so you gotta give me a little break there. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And like I said, if you got any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and bring them down below. And if I got the links to these, I will put them down below, like I said, as well as an affiliate link if I do have one for Amazon. I don't believe I'm signed up for an affiliate for Elegoo, so I'll just throw that in there. But anything that you guys can support the channel, that would be great. But yeah, till next time, guys, happy printing.